All right, welcome back. I hope you're having an amazing time so far. Our next speaker is Shyamala Prayaga. She is a product owner, conversational AI at Ford Motor Company. Please join me in welcoming her to our virtual stage.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Shyamala Prayaga, and today I am going to talk about artificial intelligence in the Ford vehicles. Uh, okay, just want to make sure that you're able to see my screen. So today we are going to talk about UX with Ford vehicles and how AI fits into the big picture. So, like Patricia mentioned, my name is Shyamala Prayaga, and I'm the product owner at Ford Motor. I lead the conversational AI effort, and I'm also the ambassador for Open Voice Network, where we try to standardize voice technologies, architecture, privacy, and all aspects of voice. I'm also the founder of the Digital Assistant Academy, where we train and certify people for voice interaction design and conversational AI. Prior to joining Ford, I worked with a lot of different companies, including Amazon, VoiceBox Technologies, and a lot of different startups. During my free time, I love gardening, and that is the roses from my garden. And I love traveling a lot as well. But we're not going to talk about those things today. So we are here to talk about the vehicles and the user experience in those. So back, if you look at a couple of years back, vehicles were just a mode of transport to take you from point A to point B. And the only goal was like, there's a vehicle which can drive me comfortably, and that was the only thing. But soon, thanks to the technology, thanks to the sci-fi movies and all things we've been looking at and seeing and hearing and all of those things, there's a lot of push in terms of how we are looking at vehicles. So augmented reality, virtual reality, the speakers and the voice assistants, and all the connected experiences we have at home. Like I'm able to connect my phone to my uh, smartwatch, or I'm able to connect it to my car also, and all of those kind of things. These kind of expectations and these kind of technology enablements have also evolved a lot, and that have changed how people interact with the car and how what they want in the car as well. So the expectations is also changing. So it's not just a mode of transport anymore. It has become more than that, where people are expecting the car to be more connected. They are connecting their phones, they are connecting their laptops. They're also wanting to connect their applications and smart devices and everything. But at the same time, they want the car to do a lot more things for them, which basically was not the intent originally. So the cars have not just become a transportation mode, but now they have become a connected space for the users, because many people spend hours and hours in their vehicles. And that was the case pre-COVID. Post-COVID also, we will start to see the trends where people will get back to roads pretty soon, and they'll be spending hours on their commute. And that is why they just don't want a mode of transport to take them from point A to point B, but something which they can use to do a lot more things. So as we start to look at the user experience aspects of things and how cars have evolved, one of the biggest thing is people want the cars to be more personalized. So when I say personalized, the biggest thing is the car should know who is driving and their preferences and things like that. So currently, the car I own, it does not have any kind of preferences. So the moment I enter into the car, I have to change all of my setting, my seat settings, my mirror adjustments, and everything based on my preferences. So the moment my husband enters, he needs to adjust all of those things based on his liking. There is no way for the vehicle to know that this is the setting. So every time I go back, I have to readjust myself, which is very frustrating. But there are cars which are available, which are able to now personalize the experiences. So using a key fob or using some sort of authentication system, the car is able to know nowadays, like, hey, this is the person, and this person likes the settings in a certain manner, and is able to change everything for the users. Those are available pretty much in luxury cars, but that is becoming a norm pretty much, because personalization has become a big part of our life. Now, the second thing is personalization not only in the in-car experience, but also the interactions we are having with the touchscreen, or having with the apps on the tablet as well. in the car is equally important. Next is the contextually aware systems. So as of now, the vehicle is not very much contextually aware, and we are trying to push the boundary because the user experience in the vehicle comes when you have a really good time with the vehicle. It is able to understand you, it is able to also suggest you things and stuff like that. So contextual awareness is very important, because if I know the context, we are able to connect everything in the vehicle. We are able to connect your calendars, we are able to connect your uh, meeting invites or things like that. We are also able to connect your music and stuff like that. So it is always possible to now create a contextually aware system. So if you are going on the route to your work and there's an accident ahead, the vehicle is able to tell you like, hey, there's accident, so I'm rerouting or something. Right now, it's kind of tricky because none of the systems are actually capable of doing those kind of things. Not that technically it is not possible, because these kind of use cases have not been explored as much, but those are really some use cases where we are kind of pushing the boundary and thinking about how we can enhance the user experience. The third thing, like I mentioned, is connection in the vehicle, connecting your phones or just having 100% connectivity in the car kind of changes everything. So older vehicles did not have a very smart voice assistant. The reason being because it was really hard for them to connect to the internet, or it was hard to know the latest data. Everything was embedded. So over the air update was not possible. So whatever you got in the vehicle when you bought is what you had to settle for. But now with the connected experiences, you are able to get more updates like you can on your phone through over the air updates, but you're also getting the most up-to-date information from the navigation system, from your voice assistant, from your apps, and all things which is connected in the vehicle as well. The next thing is adaptive. So the car is able to adapt to your situation and understand what's happening, and help you out throughout the ride. And that is really something where we are pushing the boundary as well. And of course, conversational AI or conversational system is one more thing which enhances the user experience. Especially, people are talking to their voice assistant at home, and they would expect the same kind of thing in vehicle as well, because there's so many things. Especially there's distraction when you are driving if you have to interact with the screen, and voice can take away that distraction. It can become your companion, which is helping you with a lot of these kind of things as well. Now, even if you look not just how people interact with the voice assistant, how people interact in the car is changing, but also how people will drive is also changing. And that is why there are self-driving vehicles, and there's so much investment and effort being done to create self-driving vehicles, because this again is something people are expecting now, given the technology is capable of doing. And I wouldn't say everyone is excited about it, but many people I have spoken with are really excited about self-driving vehicles and how people are thinking about driving. And the thought that I don't have to drive and the vehicle will drive itself is another thing, right? But as you start to look at all of these things, this is where artificial intelligence is all about. Like, where does AI fit? Like, you have self-driving vehicles now, you have so many things we've been talking about. So artificial intelligence is something we have to start thinking about in the vehicles, and companies have been thinking about it for over a decade now. They've already started preparing the groundwork for the future and the future vehicles as well. And this is a quote from Jeff Lemire, our ex-VP and CIO. Like, not only are AI technologies critical for enabling our autonomous vehicles, but they are also playing an increasingly important role in transforming our customers and employee experiences. So again, AI is not just to enable the technology for AV vehicles, but it is also enhancing the user experience. So going back to the original point about how we are looking at different use cases or looking at creating an enhanced user experience for the user, AI is one of the enablers for that as well. Now, there are two parts when you look at enablers for AI. One is the experience enablers. Some of those we already spoke about, like personalizations, recommendations, contextual awareness, adaptive, and things like that. Now, the second part, which is really important, is the unique applications of AI in the vehicle itself. Conversational AI being the topmost. Especially if you look at conversational systems, they can do a lot more things. Now it is smart enough to control your car, control your home. It is able to answer your questions and all sorts of things. And we'll talk a little bit more about conversational AI. But then we also have emotion detection. So now the cars are able to, using sensors, cameras, and all, detect the emotion of the user and understand what they are doing, what they are thinking, and they are able to help the users. Now, if the user is sad, or if the user is happy, or if the user is tense or something like that, the vehicle can assist in a certain manner and help them to have a safe driving experience or something along those lines. Now, drowsy driving distraction detection is one more thing. Uh, and this happens to me all the time. When I'm driving, I'm so bored and I don't like driving that I always feel sleepy, and I'm waiting for that one signal where I can close my eyes for at least a second. And that happens with many people, like drowsy driving, and especially if you are tired or driving very early in the morning or late in the evenings or something like that. So the vehicles are also capable of doing those things as well, and then driver monitoring and driver assistance and safety. So there are a lot of unique applications. We're going to talk a little deeper about some of these things of AI in the vehicle space, starting with the emergency braking, which is part of the driver assist technology. So let's say you are driving, and some of the vehicles are already part of these kind of things. So you may have experienced some of these things in your vehicle as well. The vehicle is driving very fast, and the person on in front ahead of you has made an emergency stop or had slowed down. So sometimes it's very hard for you to immediately stop or slow down. In those kind of situations, the vehicle detects and knows how the possibility and probability of, okay, there may be chances if I did not react as a user, the vehicle will know, like, okay, I need to make sudden brake so that we're not crashing into the other vehicles. So those kind of things are where, a lot of artificial intelligence technology is used, because it needs to detect a lot of things. It needs to understand, needs to have a lot of data to start with. Like, okay, when do I know, like, this is the time I have to press my brakes or stuff like that. Now, the second thing is passenger monitoring, and this happens all the time. Many people I have seen driving, especially on freeways, are so distracted. They are looking at their phone and things like that. Sometimes they will not have their seat belts. So there are belt minders or belt reminders where, the vehicle will have to remind them, like, hey, you have to buckle up or something along those lines. Now, there are facial recognition technologies, which is able to detect if the user is distracted, if the user is on the road or watching the road or not, and stuff like that as well. And or how distracted are they? Are they really talking to someone else on some other screen, or what's happening with their situation? And using the facial recognition technology or all the different kind of cues in the vehicle, which the camera can capture, the vehicle can alert if there is any kind of distraction to the user. And if the user is still not alerted or does not take action, the vehicle takes action on their behalf. It could be if you are taking a doing a lane changing, or if you are off lane a little bit, it will take you back or things like that. So there are those kind of things which helps us with the passenger monitoring. Of course, to design a system like this, you need a lot of artificial intelligence and a lot of training which needs to happen to understand these kind of cues. So like, when do you know it is distraction? When do you know we have to change and stuff like that? There are alerting systems in place as well, which alerts the user through haptic feedback, through visual feedback, through audio feedback. It could be like the vehicle starts to vibrate, or there is some sort of chime in the vehicle, or sometimes even you have voice prompts or stuff like that. And you can actually decide what level of notification do you want for these kind of things. Now, lane keeping assist, and this is a feature which I use all the time, or my vehicle always enables. So when I'm driving, sometimes, when I'm deep in my thought, or maybe something, I'm slightly off my lane. So the vehicle will vibrate. It will tell me, like, you are off the lane a little bit. And if I have not put in my indicator, so vehicle knows that I'm not turning to the next signal. So it will try to push me back to the lane and put me in center. So lane keeping assist is another feature which tries to make you safe. So as you can see, a lot of AI technology is being used by the vehicle already from past couple of years to make more smarter and safer experiences and driving experiences for the user. Now, next thing is cruise control, and many people might have used it. If you are in freeway and there's a certain traffic flow, and you know that my vehicle can go in a specific speed, you can just enable your cruise control, and the vehicle goes in that certain speed. So this is more like an autopilot mode for your vehicle, where you are setting the vehicle to drive itself. So you don't have to press the gas, you don't have to press anything, and it goes in that specific speed until you disable the cruise control. So these kind of things are already in place, which is helping the vehicle to drive in a more safer manner. But these are all kind of features which are not only enabling safety, but also enabling the user experience, because now the user is able to focus and have a more safer experience in the car as well. As you could see, like if I'm distracted, the vehicle can remind me, or if I forgot to press the brake, the vehicle is taking action on my behalf, and all of those things enhances the user experience in turn. Now, the big part of all of these things, like I said, is conversational AI systems. So all of the things we spoke about so far has a lot of artificial intelligence built into it, and a lot of work is being done in that space. But conversational AI is a one-off thing, which is 100% dependent on artificial intelligence for whatever we are doing. So talking to your car, and being able to do all sorts of things like changing the climate control in the vehicle, or asking for some sort of question, or asking for weather information, or asking to call someone on your behalf. Or nowadays, cars are also capable of controlling your house remotely. So if you forgot to maybe arm your house or close your garage on your way, you can just ask the assistant to do those kind of things on your behalf as well. So the voice assistants are becoming smarter day by day, especially everywhere and in the car as well, because now we have the technologies which is allowing us to do those kind of things, especially the connected experiences and a lot of AI data and training and stuff like that. So very, very high level, for people who don't know how conversational systems work, there is a automated speech recognition system, which actually every time the user is speaking something, the automated speech recognition system records the user's spoken words and then converts into machine readable format, which could be textual format or whatever the machine is able to understand. And now we have smarter ASR systems as well, which is also able to understand, interpret, and do everything at once. So you don't have to waste a lot of time. So which reduces the latency as well. And ASR systems are also becoming smarter to detect the background noise converts as well. Now, the next thing is the natural language processing system, which once the user has something, let's say the user said, what is the weather in Seattle? The natural language system will take those words, understand the intent. The user said weather in Seattle. The user is trying to get the information about the weather. The natural language processing system then sends it for fulfillment. If it does not understand, there's a dialogue management layer which goes back and forth between the user and the speech recognition system. And finally, once it knows like this is the intent and this is where I can get the information and fulfill it, that's what the NLP and the dialogue manager and all of those things will do. And once that is done, that is where the response comes to the system back in a machine readable format, which is text. And because the user started the conversation in a spoken format, it has to be converted to the spoken words. And that is where the text to speech systems are enabled. Where it converts the text into spoken format and then speaks back to the user. Now, as you could see, these are all different engines which enables a conversational AI system in vehicle or elsewhere. And these are all heavily AI-based AI machine learning models which are trained to understand different accents, different scenarios, background noise, or even for the language processing or language understanding, the different kind of things, the data which needs to be put to tell the user to understand when the user said, what is the weather in Seattle, or do I need an umbrella, or will it rain, that they meant the weather information. So the system needs to be trained to that extent. And then now text to speech systems are also smart enough to understand the user emotions, but also have more emotive expression. So now TTS engines are also capable of showing empathy, sympathy. So they're not just robotic voices anymore. So we are going very close to what we have aimed for or what we have expected as users of these technologies. Now, in the cars, we are also looking at AI technologies like voice biometrics, where these can be used to not just personalize the experience for you, but also provide you more enhanced UX and user experience, especially when it comes to talking with the assistant and stuff like that. But also, knowing who you are as a user, so we can give you not just the personalization, but other kind of experiences. So voice biometrics is able to understand record the user words and then interpret it. And every time the user says the keyword, the vehicle understands it is this person. And Siri is pretty much doing that. They train the user initially, and then if my Siri does that, where unless and until I invoke Siri, it will not work, even when my husband or son tries. So it is also enhancing the privacy aspect of things, like my vehicle is safe and secured. Even from that aspect, no one is going to take my data away. So these are another, this is another technology which is being used and considered in vehicles as well. So as you could see, it's the user experience and AI goes hand in hand, because user experience is required to satisfy the user and provide them a better driving experience, and vice versa. Like, in order to enhance the user experience, we cannot just do it, and we need artificial intelligence to support it. So they both are complementing each other. And as we start to think about the level 4 and level 5 self-driving vehicles, and for people who don't know what level 4 and level 5 self-driving vehicles are, level 4 vehicles are, they're capable of driving themselves in a geo-fenced location with a pre-trained model. And level 5 self-driving vehicles are vehicles which can drive in any circumstances, any situations, and anything uh, uh, once they know how to drive. That's how we define it. Now, most of the vehicles which you see, like our vehicle, upcoming vehicle, or if you look at other vehicles which are being pursued at the moment in the industry, they are all aiming for the level 4. Level 5 is still way ahead. It's not going to happen anytime soon in the next 10 years. But a lot of AI enablement is happening in these as well. So I would say, like, uh, artificial intelligence will become whole and soul of everything, especially for the self-driving vehicle, because self-driving vehicle needs to do a lot of things which will happen only when there are AI models in place, because there will be no driver, there will be no steering wheels, there will be nothing which will help the user to take it back or take control back. So it's all AI based, and not just geofenced or geofenced, or whatever we are talking about in future with the level 5. AI is going to help go to that stage of self-driving. And with that, I am open to any questions.
Wow, thank you so much. That was amazing. And I know this virtual audience is giving you a huge virtual round of applause. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you.
Yes, it was awesome to have you. For the audience, it's time for you to make your way to your next session. Along the way, make sure you accept your connection request and take some time to check out our amazing exhibits. Thanks so much, and we'll see you around.